This woman has gone through all the hardships. Finally gave birth to the baby safely. But the first thing she did when she was discharged. Just choose to leave without looking back. The reason is simple. Because my husband's IQ is only 7 years old. She doesn't want to live with a fool forever. The man named Sam suffers from severe intellectual disability. Worked in a coffee shop for 8 years. But it's very difficult to even make a cup of coffee. Facing the newborn girl Hikaru. He can't handle it at all. Everything is in a hurry. Face all kinds of fans. He is like a lover. I don't know what to broadcast. Because my daughter hasn't eaten enough. Crying in the middle of the night. So noisy neighbors are calling. Began to question him loudly. Hello there. What did you do to your baby? My neighbor is a kind person. Gave him many tips for bringing babies. He named his daughter Lucy. Started doing everything possible to raise the child. Feed every 2 hours. Get up every night. Clumsy changing of diapers. Even took Lucy to work with. Under his care. Lucy finally grew up day by day. Become a smart and cute little girl. But a lot of trouble will follow him. Lucy is full of curiosity about the world. Strange questions always pop up in my mind. But Sam doesn't know a few words. Very answer her doubts. Although Lucy hasn't posted yet. But already has a high EQ. It's okay, Dad is okay. You don't have to apologize. I'm very lucky. Other dads don't take their kids to the park. In contrast, the mountain is more like a child. When Sam mispronounced the words in the book. So as not to embarrass Dad. Lucy will also deliberately mispronounce words. Although my father's intelligence is very low, his friends also have different flaws. But to buy shoes for Lucy. And they will be silent. Take out only a small amount of money. Because they make up for the love of nothingness. Lucy is very happy. But such a life. There was still a problem after all. Sam was invited to school by the teacher this day. Not because of Lucy's poor grades. But a painting by Lucy. Distracted the teacher. Tall and big Lucy holding Dad. It seems that the first dad is a child being taken care of. Teacher after observation. Found that Lucy was afraid of learning in class. Intentionally rejecting new knowledge. Because she has been accommodating Dad's IQ. She is afraid that she will become more aware. But all this Lucy did. Mountain marriage can't understand people at all. The school can only report the situation to other departments. Time flies. Lucy's 7th birthday. Sam is going to have a birthday party. But because of problems with the rehearsal. Quarrel with a boy. The boy's father knocked Sam down by mistake. Lucy just happened to see. The boy still reluctantly said. She said you are not his biological father. She said she was adopted. Embarrassed Lucy can only run away. The investigator of the Child Protection Agency witnessed everything. They think Sam. Inability to continue raising children. So Lucy was taken away forcibly. The judge temporarily deprived Sam of custody in the court. Lucy is about to be sent to a foster home. Sam with an IQ of only 7. What should we do? Lucy, I'm here. I said he will come. Because IQ is only 7 years old. Sam lost the custody of his daughter. Only in the specified location. Visit Lucy at the appointed time. Twice a week. Only 2 hours each time. Sam doesn't understand. Obviously I have always loved my daughter. Why do these people break them up? See the look of Dad. Lucy is very distressed. I said I only want him to be my father. Why don't you record it? In order to regain Lucy's custody rights. After a discussion between Sam and his friends. Find the most famous lawyer in the area. As long as she takes over the case. Win the case without exception. Can hire such a lawyer. Need to pay huge legal fees. Sam can't afford it. In the end, he could only be swept out. But Sam did not give up. He worked hard to save money. I found a lawyer many times. Tell her the story of herself and Lucy. Finally once. In order to maintain the image in the minds of colleagues. The lawyer promised to defend him for free. Sam was happy like a child suddenly. But his friends are all intellectually flawed. Their testimony is hard to be accepted by the court. In desperation, Sean found a neighbor to help again. Soon the day of court is coming. The lawyer is indeed well deserved. She caught the emotional scar of the other witness. A few words have the upper hand. Neighbors then came out to testify. Her testimony is simple and sharp. The thing about Sam's care to raise Lucy. Make a detailed statement to the court. She thinks that although Lucy is much smarter than Sam. But it's all the result of Sam's hard work. Not only that, Sam also taught Lucy to treat people sincerely. If they were forcibly separated, it will cause damage to Lucy. The words successfully touched everyone. Next. Sam just needs to perform well in the final trial to take back Lucy's custody rights. But only one day is left for him. The lawyer brought Sam home. Simulate questions that may be answered overnight. She made Sam repeat it over and over again until she can cope smoothly. The lawyer gave him a suit, told him to dress decently that day. On the second day, Sam's suit was very handsome. Not only because today is his big day, also because the boss decided to give him a promotion. But the accident still happened. He hurried to the court. This kind of extremely indecent appearance scared the lawyers on the spot. Fortunately, he did not forget the evening practice. The first few questions of the opposing lawyer, he can answer calmly. Until the other party asks such a question. Everything was going well. Take a sharp turn. Mr. Dawson. Your IQ is only 7 years old. Why should you be a father? Use background, or use IQ? Facing questions from lawyers, Sam was at a loss. The opposing lawyer took the opportunity to ask questions continuously. These problems are like a sharp knife. Each one is straight to the point. The picture in Sam's mind. He tried his best to piece together useful words. But his IQ is only 7 years old. This is beyond the scope of his thinking. However, the other party's problems continue. I know you love Lucy. Don't you think you should give her more? Don't you ever ask yourself every day? Protest. He is confusing the question. Yes, yes. Sorry, you agree, right? Yes, I think Lucy deserves more. We asked ourselves that we should give her more. But I want you to admit to everyone. You can't give her more. You can't give her more. Maybe everyone is right, isn't it? Maybe everyone is right. Sam finally lost the lawsuit. Lucy is about to be sent to a new foster family as the biological father, but can't raise the child by hand. Sam's life was completely destroyed. He also plucked up the courage to visit Lucy. But when he saw from a distance, when Lucy already has a better life, he still chose to leave quietly. But what he doesn't know is, Lucy has been waiting for him to come out. Sam shut himself into the room. Emotions are on the verge of collapse. Until this day, the lawyer kicked open the door angrily. She accuses Sam of giving up, without the responsibility of a man and a father can talk. The lawyer's mood also collapsed. Do you think in this world, are you alone in suffering? Someone like me, husband for a more beautiful woman. Zhang Shi betrayed me for a more beautiful woman. Someone like me. Even my son hates me. It turns out that in the adult world, no one's life is easy. But you can't just restock because of difficulties. Sam's fighting spirit. The battle division told him to go through the court. There is little chance of regaining custody. But you can try to communicate with the poisonous family. If they will, Sam can raise Lucy with them. Sam saw hope. He changed a new job and moved to Lucy's neighborhood. Appeared in front of Lucy every other time Lucy sees Dad. Finally showed a long-lost smile. From then on, Lucy and Sam do doggies during the day. At night, we'll sneak out of the room, come to Sam's house. After Lucy fell asleep, Sam put her in a blanket and sent it back. Such days lasted for a long time. Finally one day, Lucy's new mother knocked on Sam's door. She was moved by the feelings between Lucy and Sam. Take the initiative to return Lucy to Sam. When the new mother leaves, Sam also sees that the new mother is very upset. He hopes that the new mother can help himself raise Lucy to grow up. New mother gladly accepted. The end of the movie. The field turns loose on a happy football match. At a cheap football match, Lucy ran happily. Not only did she return to Dad, and got the love of more people, this love let everyone's heart become extremely warm.